What can I do about my husband that degrades, belittles me, and cusses me out, specifically to me, but also in front of my 4-year-old daughter?
Get out.
I've been really nervous because it wasn't an easy question to ask.
And I appreciate you saying that. I'm both sorry and not sorry that I've got such a visceral response. What up, what up? This is John with the Dr. John Delony Show, and I'm about 750 milligrams of caffeine into today, and we're happy to have you. On this show, we talk about your mental health, clearly not your metabolic health, because I am pretty juiced to the gills today. But we talk about your mental health and your emotional health and your marriage and your kids and whatever you got going on in your life. We got a studio audience out here, and there's a beautiful little girl waving. Good to see you. On today's show, we're going to talk about any number of things, and I really never know what's coming because today the show's made up of callers just like you. Moms, dads, brothers, sisters, grandparents, kids, going through life, doing life in real time, struggling with real stuff. If you want to be a caller on the show, you want to call in, you are going to be having a private conversation in front of millions of people. But if you want to be on the show, give me a buzz at 1-844-693-3291. It's 1-844-693-3291, or go to johndelony.com/ask. And when does this episode come out? 21st?
The 13th.
13th. Oh, because it says published date, 13th?
Yeah.
You
Maybe
guys,
it's time you learn the lingo.
You guys and your numbers back there.
I know, in all of our fancy lingo.
All right, if they haven't sold out by the time this show airs, which they may have, if they haven't sold out, Questions for Humans are out. The Christmas deck sells out every year. But we're going to do a couple right now.
Yes.
Let's party. All right.
Are the holidays more magical or more stressful for you?
Oh, man. You go first.
So yes. I think
Yes.
that's the answer. Yes, they're stressful.
How much is stress is self-imposed, and how much of it is
99.9% of it is self-imposed. Because if we're talking Christmas, we don't travel. I follow my parents' rule, which was my kids spend every Christmas in our home. If you want to come visit, great, you're welcome. But I spent every Christmas in my home growing up, and our kids have done the same. So we don't even travel. Any stress is self-imposed by me of, we have to do all of these things. You know, we have to do the cookies, and there has to be this, and it has to be this. And because I'm a bit of a control freak.
Stop it. Really?
I know. Everything has to be just right. I've learned to let a lot of that go over the past few years to make it less stressful.
You saw Frozen 1, and you're like, that's a great idea.
Yeah, that's exactly how that went. But a lot of that is self-imposed.
So why, on behalf of people everywhere, why do you do that to yourself?
I think I'm big on traditions, and this is the ones my family has, so this is the ones we're going to do, and trying to bring Roberts in, and we have to do all of the things because we only do them, all the different things because we only do them once a year. And then, last year life blew up on Christmas Eve, and I was like, oh, well, clearly we're not doing anything. So this year, there's a lot of those things we're like, we're letting those go.
So man, it's not a fair question for me to answer because I think that I traffic in magic with most of my life, and my wife traffics in reality. And so I can imagine we have very different answers to this, that it's more stressful because there's packing and traveling, and I tend to not so much live in reality sometimes.
I've never seen that.
I know. We'll just get there when we get there. We'll have tons of fun.
And if we don't have a hotel, it's fine.
Let's figure it out when we get there.
Yeah.
If we have not had a family adventure where we all slept in the car yet in another state, right? So for me, it's just all magic. And I think for my wife and those who orbit me, it maybe is not quite so magical. And so I think that's where the balance happens, right? I try to take on some stress, and I think I try to give some provide magic.
We do a couple of different experiences now. Like there's a light thing here at our zoo does this light thing. It's amazing. And so we've started doing more of those things. And that's one reason we decorate a little earlier. And it's just so that when we come back from Thanksgiving, it's not like, go, go, go. It's like, no, wait, we're going to back it up a week. And then we could just kind of ease into it. And that helps a lot with me. But
do you announce to the family, hey, y'all, let's back that thing up? Because if you did, that'd be incredible.
Actually, I probably have before.
All right, let's do another one.
All right.
Oh, hold on. I think a good thing going forward is if you answer that question, it's just pure magic. You're probably not helping around the house enough.
Right. It's stressful for somebody.
Yes. And if you're like, it's so stressful, I want to challenge you to ask yourself, what are ways you could make it not so stressful?
And what you can let go of.
Yes.
Yeah. Because,
and not hold back anymore.
Right.
Just let it go.
Because whatever you're making stressful is pretty much in your own mind.
I often think that. And if people are adding stress, it may be the season 2.
Cut them out.
Yeah. I was going to do the same thing with hand motions, but I decided not to. Okay, what's another one?
All right. This is an easy one for me. Which Christmas song, and I know your answer too, would you pay $67 to never hear again?
I would pay $670 to never hear Little Drummer
Boy for you. Yeah, you hate that song.
You know why? Because the Antichrist wrote it. As he fell from heaven down to the pits of hell, he was like, I've got one more curse to leave humanity.
Okay, what about the Bing Crosby, David
Will
Bowie?
shaking his head. You're literally the best guitarist I know in person. And the song is played with a snare drum.
What about the Bing Crosby, David Bowie version?
Everybody keeps sending me that.
Oh my God, it's so good.
That is like shining up a car that doesn't run anymore with dog cha-cha. It's just like, you can't polish that thing up, man.
It's so good. Love that one.
If like Pantera did like a staccato, like, then I could get behind it. Maybe. Everybody's like, guys, imagine somebody rolls into band practice, like, guys, I got a new tune. No drums, no bass, just snare. And everyone's like, oh yeah, let's let it rip. Come on. Anyway, parumpa-pum-pum. Me and my drum. Go ahead. What about you?
Mary, did you know?
Oh yeah, you hate Mary.
No, she knew. It's in the Bible. The angel told her. It's a whole thing. He came and told her. Yes, she knew. We know that. It just annoys the ever-living crap out of me.
But I've seen it on the internet. People get pregnant. They're like, I had no idea.
Yes, because an angel didn't come down from heaven and tell them what happened. And you're giving birth to the Son of God. I mean, yes, she knew.
Ayo. Pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. If that song
need to make
if that song had just a mashup,
yes.
No.
100%. My son does stuff like that. He does music stuff. I'm going to have him work on this.
He needs to bring the thunder on that one.
Yeah.
Snare only. No, nothing with a melody in it.
And just Mary, did you know, over and over. Mary, did you know?
And nothing, what is that? I've seen that on the internet. Like, nothing says, oh, that guy's going to grow up to be a man, that a woman just gave birth and a little boy's like, oh, I know what she needs. Hitting the drum.
Yeah, really. That's, by the way, as you know, when any new moms in your life, that's not what they need.
Nope. They don't need a new drum.
Casseroles, clean the house, come hold the baby so they can sleep. They do not need a drum solo.
Let's go down the roads to talk to Nikki in Knoxville, Tennessee. What's up, Nikki?
Hey, how are you?
I mean, literally couldn't be better. That's probably a little bit of exaggeration, but I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing good. Now, Mary, did you know, is never going to be the same to me again.
Because she knew, right?
Yeah, right. And I never thought of it that way. So now CeeLo's version was one of my favorites, not anymore.
Okay. All right. I can just get us derailed. All right, go for it. So what's up?
So, what can I do about my husband that degrades, belittle me, and cusses me out, specifically to me, but also in front of my 4-year-old daughter?
Get out.
Yeah, I know. It was I've been really nervous because it wasn't an easy question to ask.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying that. And I'm both sorry and not sorry that I've got such a visceral response to that. That is either he goes or you go. And since there's a little one, it's best if he goes. And y'all need to take a 30-day separation. Is this pervasive? Does this happen all the time?
Not all of the time. I feel like it'll be like a month that's really good, maybe up till 2 months, and then it will happen, and then it will be a week of not talking, him giving me the silent treatment. it always gets flipped to like it's my fault, or
Of course it does.
or I wouldn't have acted that way if you didn't do this.
Yeah, because he married a 7-year-old. I literally had that conversation with my 7-year-old the other day when she's like, her brother, he made me. And I stopped her and said, no, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Yep.
Your feelings feel big, and it feels like you can't control them. And that's what my job is to teach you and help you and walk alongside you. But he didn't make you do anything. He didn't make you hit him. He didn't make you, right? And you're married to a 7-year-old in a humongous male body that is such a coward, he decides to yell and scream at his wife in front of his child.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the height of cowardice. The only step further is to hit somebody in that situation. Has he ever been violent with you?
No, he hasn't been violent. No, luckily the two things I always said is I can never imagine him cheating or laying hands on me.
Yeah, but you couldn't have. You couldn't have imagined him talking to you this way either.
Yeah, it's true.
Right. What in the world sets him off?
Honestly, I feel like it could be. I mean, it could be any number of things. Even something as little like last week, where in my field of work, there's certain times where I have to train people, and I'll be gone a little bit more often. And keep in mind, like I'm the breadwinner. I have to, and I'll tell him like, I know he's going to get mad, so I have to gear up to it. Like, listen, this week I'm going to work 5 days instead of my normal 3 or 4. So, like, be prepared,
Why in the world would he get? I'm not. I promise, I'm not raising my voice at you. I would hug you if you're here.
Yeah, I know.
Why in the world, when you're the breadwinner, does he get mad? A, when you're going to serve somebody and teach them and train them, and B, you're going to make more money. Why? Does it cut into his video game time?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I that's the thing that I have such a hard time with, because it'll be like before when I wasn't training people, he's like, you're not working to your full capacity. You do so good at training people. I don't know why you do or why you don't. And then I do, and it's only you just prioritize your job. Your job's only when that's important. I have to be the one to take care of the daughter and all that, so I feel like no matter what I do, it's wrong.
There you go. You know why? Because he's moving the finish line. Because this has zero to do with you. This has to do with whatever he's going through or working through. He's unwilling to do it, unable to do it, whatever. I don't care. What I'm looking at is the resulting behavior. And the resulting behavior is you live with a 7-year-old in the body of a grown man.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't get to talk to you that way. He doesn't get to talk that way in front of your kid.
Yeah.
Who is this guy? Like, I don't know his name, but like, tell me about him. What makes him so great and wonderful that he can just spit on his wife like this?
I don't know. He's a big, muscular dude. He takes a lot of pride in his fitness, and I guess when I listen to your podcast, you'd probably describe him as self-righteous. When I describe him, this way, like he's always acts like he's super busy, but really doesn't have a whole lot to do. Or, I don't know. He's always has to be the leader. He always prides himself on being such a man, but then he treats me like this, and it's like, well, you want to pride yourself on being a man, then act like one.
Yeah, it's one of the least masculine things a man can do, is to treat those. Sure. He has been charged, and not only charged, but committed. He opted into this relationship with you. He opted into parenthood by sleeping with you. Mm-hmm. And to opt to those you have opted in to love and honor and take care of. The least masculine thing you can do is use them to wipe your boots off. To do anything other than be out in the marketplace, trying to make your community better, earn a living for your family. Sure, go to the gym. That's an important part of it. But I did my gym work this morning, and I worked out hard before anybody was up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And there's like a few other pieces to it too, where I'm like, man, I kept thinking if he just does this one thing, it'll be better. This thing, like he's been seeing a counselor now for a year and a half. We did marital counseling for a year. He runs a men's ministry.
Oh, good God.
it's things like that where I'm like, man,
he's the last person that should be running a ministry for men.
And that's my thing. But if I ever said that, of course, I would be like, it would be insane. I have.
If you ever said, hey, your behavior at home and the way you treat me and our daughter doesn't align with the lessons you're teaching these men, he would respond by cursing and yelling. And right, he would exactly roll into what you said.
Mm-hmm. I've probably let it slip before, to be honest. There's like a saying, oh, I have said before, I wish that some of the guys from your group could see the way that you speak to me because they wouldn't be attending anymore, And
what's his response to that?
His typical responses, well, he'll either go to the most extreme and say something like, how about I actually start to be a terrible husband so you could see what it's like to have a hard life? Or you're such a victim. You always have a victim mentality. And
all right, so here's the path, okay?
Like that.
I can't make you do what I'm about to say. And I've only got to talk to you for a few minutes, and so I don't even know if it's the right thing. But based on what you've told me, if you were my sister or you were one of my close friends, if you were a female coworker of mine, and you said what you've just told me, I would say, you're right. I'm done being a victim. Nobody in the world, especially the one guy that got on the knee before me and God and our families and said, I will defend and protect and love and care for you. Especially him. But nobody gets to yell and scream and curse at me. Nobody gets to belittle me, especially in front of our daughter. Nobody gets to teach my daughter that this is what love and commitment and fidelity in marriage looks like. Period. And if it happens to be the person I married, I'm done being a victim. I make the money in this house. I raise the kid in this house. Behavior is a language. You are asking me with all of your big muscles for me to leave. And I hear you loud and clear.
So then the other caveat to that is we moved 2.5 years ago across the country. So it's like, well, then I consider like, where would I go? What would I do? I could drive back to my family's house. Then I leave my business and everything behind. Like it's the logistics part that's obviously the scary part. And then of course when there's things are good, they're really good. We have a lot of fun. We have the same interests. But then when they're bad,
you never
like,
exhale in your own home, Nikki. You never fully exhale in your own home.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like walking on eggshells.
Always. And when it's good, you're performing. You're singing and dancing. And he happens to like your song on that day.
Yeah, that's really true. Yeah. Like as long as I behave it. That's the kind of way it is. As long as I'm what he wants, he's happy.
Man. Here's the deal. There's no easy path forward for you. Period. Every step forward is going to be hard. Because you're married to somebody that doesn't honor, doesn't love, and doesn't care for you. Period. So every step forward is going to be hard. Being a single mom, I can't even wrap my head around how hard that would be. Having to start a business back at home where I've got family resources would be unimaginably hard. And you've proven to yourself that you can take care of your daughter's needs pretty much by yourself. Maybe even in spite of your husband. You've proven to yourself you can move to a new community and be the breadwinner of a family in just a couple of years.
Yeah.
Or staying in the middle of this mess, that's going to be hard too. And I can't make that call for you.
Yeah, that's a good perspective.
There's no path forward that's not really challenging. So I'm going to tell you the same thing. You got to choose your heart. You got to choose your challenge here. My hope is that you choose the challenge that leads to you being free, to you being honored and respected, to you being able to show your daughter what strength and respect and resilience and love and character looks like. That's my hope, but I can't make you do that.
Yeah.
Anytime I have something very, very hard to do, a hard choice to make, I always go to my identity first, and then I reverse engineer it. Here's who I'm going to be. I'm going to be a guy that can tell the truth. I'm going to be a guy that takes care of himself, whatever the thing is. And then I have to reverse engineer the hard things. All right, if I'm a guy that is a good steward of his body, the one body God gave me, and I've got kids, and I got a marriage, and I got work that's 24/7, 365. All of it. That means I got to work out at 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes. That means I got to work out at 5:30. That means today I had to cut it quick, and that meant when I was cutting it quick, I had to go real hard. Like, I'm going to reverse engineer the stuff from my identity, the person I'm going to become.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I feel like I feel like the hardest part is when, it would be easy if it was always bad, or like my daughter's obsessed with her dad. Like, she loves him so much. That's the hard, like, I know you're right.
Can I tell you something crazy, Nikki?
Can
I tell you something crazy?
Tell me. Yeah, tell me.
I've mentioned this on the show before, but it was like a lightning bolt in my soul. When I was working with one of my practicum supervisors was a guy who worked with abused children. And I remember leaving one of the sessions one day, or a conversation we were having, and I said, well, that kid's going to be okay. And he looked at me and said, hey, John, straight A's can be a trauma response too.
Oh, wow.
And you have fight, and you have fight, and you have flee, and there's a fourth one that is less common, less talked about. There's fight, flee, and fawn. I'm going to nuzzle up so close that maybe they won't get me there. I'm going to be extra sexual. I'm going to be extra close. I'm going to be extra nuzzly. I'm going to be extra tender. Because like in boxing, sometimes the safest place to be to someone who hits really hard is close as humanly possible to them.
Yeah.
And so just because a kid nuzzles up to their dad doesn't mean that, she sees how wonderful he is. No, she may innately know the safest place is real, real close.
That's true, because especially after he'll yell or whatever, that's the other thing that kills me is that I'll see happen is, for instance, she'll do something or have an outburst, and he'll get upset with her, and she'll say, like, she'll look at him and go, do you love me, Dad? Do you love me, Dad? And sometimes, like, if she really just frustrates him, he'll just look at her and go, yeah, and kind of look away. And I've had to tell him, like, hey, like, don't teach her that your love is only contingent on what she does for you. But then I guess now that I just say that out loud, that's what happens to me too.
Yeah. And I'm getting choked up now too, because I have a 7-year-old little girl.
Yeah. So
here's all I can tell you, Nikki. I can't make you do anything. I'd love to talk to him. Something went sideways in his life. I don't know what it is. I can just tell you, you're worth more than this. And for God's sake, that little baby girl's worth more than this. And just by nature of a lot of my higher ed work, my job with college students, I'm going to put you're right. Your mom is watching you and learning what safety looks like, how to be safe in a house with a volatile, unpredictable, loud, withholding adult. That's trauma, by the way. Trauma with a big T on it, trauma. And she's watching, this is how we deal with this situation. And the number of students I've sat with over the years that have completely lost their faith, walked away from any sort of faith, it was almost never about the faith. It was about people proclaiming one thing and then living another way that the kids over a period of their childhood could not reconcile the cognitive dissonance between who this person is espousing to be and who they actually are. And they just say, I don't know what to do with this, but I'm out. Because if this is what this is, I'm out. And you do that for 18 years, it becomes part of your nervous system. And somebody starts talking about faith and your body's like, dude, get out of here. And so we often make people walking away from faith about a intellectual issue. It's a nervous system issue. Get me out of here. This is not safe. It's the same as to your daughter one day, I love you, will you marry me? And her body will say, get out of here. Not safe. And he's getting some help. He's doing all the quote unquote right things, going to a counselor, but he is not changing his life. Period. And you were not put on this planet to be his doormat. But I can't make you leave. And I can't make you have a hard conversation. And I can't make him change. I love you. I love him too. Good grief, man. There's a lot of hurt in that house. We'll be right back. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Hey, it's Delony. This time of year, there can be a lot of anxiety and a lot of drama, but it can also be great. But it can also be a mix of everything, right? Especially when it comes to giving gifts. Maybe your family makes super thoughtful handmade things, or they expect you to spend $1 million, or maybe you just like experiencing time together or pick up random gift cards last minute. Things like gift giving can make us bananas. So no matter how hectic it gets, especially around gift giving, remember to take care of yourself. Whether it's going easier on yourself during tough moments, or having to say, hey, we don't have enough money to buy all these gifts, or treating yourself to a day of silence. Remember to give yourself some love this holiday season. And if things get too heavy, if thinking about dealing with your family and all of the drama gets to be too much, give BetterHelp a try. BetterHelp is flexible because it's online, so it can fit into your busy holiday schedule. Just fill out a short questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no extra charge. In this season of chaos and love and sadness and all of it rolled up to one, give yourself what you need with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Delony today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Delony. All right, let's go down the street here in Nashville and talk to Elijah. What's up, Elijah?
Hey, Dr. John, I really appreciate you having me.
You got it, man. What's going on, dude?
Hey, so I got married about 3 weekends ago. Awesome.
Congrats, man.
Thank you. I got a wonderful wife. She's everything I could ask for. What I wanted to ask about today was just kind of a roadmap to, one, obviously, how do I not mess this up? And two, one of the things we've talked about is let's make this the best marriage of all time. And she's on board with me on that. We see eye to eye on pretty much everything I can think of. And I've looked, we've had premarital counseling. I feel like we're doing the right things, but I just really want to make sure that we're doing the right things that we need to do. People talk about putting in the work on marriage, and they don't really go past that and explain really what that means. So just a roadmap for how we make this the best marriage that we can.
Dude, I love that question, and it's a disastrous goal. Can I blow up your whole model for this?
Yeah, you can blow it up.
All right. 100%. Do not seek to have the best marriage of all time. That's too much pressure to put on both you and your wife and your marriage. That's not the goal.
Okay.
The goal is to ask every single day, how can I love you today?
Yeah.
And we're going to put in some pictures of what that looks like. Make no mistake, you will mess this up. Go ahead and release yourself from that. You'll mess it up. You know what? She will too.
Yeah.
And then y'all will both try to fix it and work on it, and you'll both mess it up. Okay?
Yeah.
So I'll give you a couple things off the top of my head that I wish I had known when I started. Also knowing I wouldn't have done any of it. Right? I saw this recently that before the internet, we thought that people made dumb decisions because they didn't have the information. Now we know that is not true. Right?
Yeah.
People
definitely
have the info and they continue to make dumb decisions. So
Yep.
I'm going to fill a couple of things up here, fill you in with a couple of things, and kind of go from there, okay?
That sounds great.
All right. So the first thing is I want you to not try to over-intellectualize this.
Yeah.
I want y'all to make a habit, a practice, a daily morning practice, a daily evening practice, and then a little more of an intensive weekly practice, and then a real intensive annual practice. And that is simply not trying to guess how she wants to be loved.
Yeah.
Not try to guess how she wants to be kept safe. Not try to guess what she needs from you, but get in a regular rhythm of asking.
Yeah.
And the quicker you can demystify the Hollywood bullcrap that is, you're supposed to read her mind and she's supposed to read your mind, and that's what romance is, the quicker you can melt that nonsense and be honest with each other and begin to think of it this way. Over time, I'm going to teach her how I best feel loved, and vice versa. And by the way, knowing every 5 to 10 years you're going to change, and so is she.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe every month or two, right?
Yeah.
But so
Definitely.
what we're doing is we're building a framework. We're not coming up with a bunch of answers. So we're going to build a framework where every day I'm going to ask you, hey, what's the best way I can love you today? What's your picture of today look like? And she might say, I don't know. What kind of question is that? That means her dad never asked that question. She never saw her dad ask her mom that question. She might not even know.
Yeah.
Cool, we're going to figure that out. And vice versa. How can I love you today?
Yeah.
And you'll be like, I don't know, you'll make out. Over time, you'll come up with, I really need just to sleep tonight. Or I really need to, I just need to go to something crazy. Can we just go out? And I know we can't afford it. I know it's whatever. Can we just go out? Like, right? So we're going to slowly begin to practice that. But if she knows you're going to ask that question every morning and every evening and every Sunday night, you're going to get together and go over the calendar for the week and go over your budget for the week. Dude, you're building a marriage that is so resilient that when something happens, and a whole bunch of things will happen, Elijah. You just got to trust me on this.
Yeah.
Both of your parents, if the world works out the way it's supposed to, you'll bury all 4 parents.
Yeah.
You'll bury all of your grandparents. One of you will find yourself super into somebody else you work with, or somebody else at church, or somebody else in your neighborhood, and you'll have to claw your way back.
Mm-hmm.
One of you will hurt the other person. You'll have parenting difference. These things will happen. This is marriage.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But if every day, how can I love you today?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Okay? That's number 1. Number 2, be very clear about asking your wife, what does safety look like to you?
Mm-hmm.
You sound like a guy that's into like, how do I protect and provide, right? That kind of stuff.
Yep. Yep. Jiu-jitsu, working out. Yeah.
There you go. When my wife and I were dating, this is going to shock you. I'm going to blow your mind. I was a hothead, a real hothead, dude. And then when I got into MMA and it was less sport, when I got into it, it was more just like practice was sparring and like some sit-ups and then more sparring.
Yep. Going hard.
I thought protecting my wife was getting in a fight all the time. And what I came to realize was I made her feel less safe on a daily basis.
Yep.
Because she didn't know if I was going to pop off at a grocery store. She was the one that said, John, if you get into some altercation in a restaurant because somebody looked at me wrong and you tell yourself you're protecting me and his buddy hits you on the head with a bottle, I'm left alone with 2 crazed guys. You have not protected me. And so I learned with my wife that the greatest way I could protect her was to get her out of situations, to leave.
Yeah.
And so for me, courage was not getting in the middle of a situation. Courage for me was sucking up my ego and pride and getting my wife to a safe place, bringing her home.
Yeah, that's good.
Does that make sense?
I can definitely lean towards doing the first. Like, hey, did that guy look at you? I'm going to go get him. I'm going to ask him, hey, what are you looking at? And so, yeah, that's good.
And your wife will probably say, do you think I'm beautiful? And you'll go, yeah. And she'll go, he does too. Get over yourself. Right? And you'll go, oh, yeah. Right? So,
yep. Yeah, definitely.
But that's asking the question, hey, when does this make you feel safe? And there's other times, I used to joke, my wife's a Texas feminist. She'd be like, women should be paid equal, all the stuff, right? That's all true. And then she would be like, you need to go hit that dude. I was like, I don't know what to do. But so there is times that's like, you know what I mean? But that's not for this show. Here's the deal.
That communication and asking what to do.
Right.
You know, what makes her feel safe. Yep.
What does intimacy feel like? What is sex like? Like, what makes you feel loved?
Yeah.
What makes you feel all hot and bothered? What makes you just want to get it on? Like, Not you going, oh, I know what's going to be, because that's the way you feel, or that's what way you saw it in some movies sometimes. Like, let her dictate that. And hopefully vice versa, that you open up a dialogue that she can ask you that stuff. And that leads to, what does being loving look like? Ask that question. Because I thought being loving, probably the first 15 years, was making money, getting a bunch of titles, getting invited to stuff, getting things autographed for my wife, running around in the middle of the night with police officers and fighters so that I could look like I was living some life that I really wasn't living. I wasn't in the CIA, even though I was like, yeah, bro, I watch the shows. All that was me trying to love my wife. Come to find out, she just wanted me. And I didn't have a psychology for that. Because my only value was found in utility. What can I do? And she was like, A, I'm smarter than you. B, at the time, I make the same amount of money as you about. Will you just hold my hand and watch the sunset with me and drink some coffee?
Yeah.
Right? And by the way, that's changed. There's a season when you need to go to work. There's a season when like you got to write a book. And there's a season when kids are born and need some help. But it changes over time. But what does loving look like?
Yeah, that's good. I'm gearing up for a time where I'm going to have to work really hard for about 2 to 3 years for my career and getting that started.
Perfect.
And knowing that communication is going to be, the biggest thing. Asking, how can I love you? How can I make you feel safe? Those questions. I'm sure that's going to be really important at that time.
And here's a magic question for every marriage. I think every person that's married or about to be married should ask this question. What do we want our home to feel like?
Yeah.
And then let's reverse engineer that. And in my house, I wanted it full of laughter. I wanted it to feel warm when I walked in. And so we had to figure that out. Well, John, if you want the house to feel warm, I need you to put your dishes up the night before.
Yep.
John, I need you to help make the bed. I need you to help with the kids in the morning. And so then when you get home, right? Awesome. Let's do that.
Relax.
Yeah. Yep. And here's a couple of other things that are marriage adjacent. You take care of you all the way around, not just lifting weights and going to jiu-jitsu. Make sure you got a group of men that you talk to on the regular, that you tell the stuff that makes you scared. Dude, I'm scared about like my job.
Yeah.
I am like this woman that I work with. She thinks I'm hilarious. And like, I'm kind of starting to like think up a joke that I can tell her when I get to work. Like, dude, and you got to have people that you talk to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
And the third, like, go see a counselor, man. If you're about to gear up and go get it, get yourself a coach, get yourself a counselor that you can, so that way you don't use your wife as a trash can over the next 3 years. Mm-hmm. That she only gets you when you're exhausted and you're not gonna believe what happened today, right?
Yep.
And then here's the last one. Hold all of us with a really open hand. The greatest quote I've ever heard about marriage was from Esther Perel when she said, most adults have 4 or 5 great, passionate loves in their adulthood. And if they work really hard, it can be with the same person. I've been married for 21 and a half years. I'm a radically different person than I was 5 years ago. Unrecognizable. I am radically different from the guy I was 10 years ago. Literally unrecognizable. And the guy that got married when he was 24, that dude, jeez. That guy needs to be taken out behind the woodshed and just beat, right? And so I tell you, she's going to change. And so are you. And that's not the problem. That's the beauty.
Yeah, that's good.
So if you hold her to a list of, you said you believe in this. Dude, the greatest thing is changing our beliefs. It's one of my favorite things in the world to do. That's why I read books. That's why I listen to podcasts. That's why I have interviews. That's why I travel the country. Oh, I believed this. I thought something different. You and your wife need to be really secure on your values and hold your beliefs super, super lightly. So me and my wife share some values. Dignity and respect, no matter what. Curiosity over everything. Hospitality. Right? So if she comes in and goes, hey, I don't think I believe X anymore. I believe Y now. Then our value is not, you will believe exactly like me. It is curiosity and dignity. Whoa, dude, that sounds wild. Tell me about that. Right?
Yeah.
That's different than, you can't tell our kids that. Our kids are going to be fine. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So maybe
yeah.
a fun like month. You do this, brother. Have a 1 month anniversary. She'll never see it coming. Have a 1 month anniversary and take her out and have something really nice where y'all can write down your values. Who are we going to be? And make sure you talk through, I know our beliefs are going to change. You're going to read a book. You're going to have an experience. You're going to get fired. I'm going to get fired. We're going to have changes in what we believe. That's the beauty of our life. The only people who can't figure that crap out are politicians. Jeez Louise. We're going to get new information. Cool. That's awesome. What are our values going to be? Who are we going to be? And let's ink those in right now. And then let's hold some beliefs really loosely. I'm going to send you all of the Questions for Humans cards, both decks for couples, and the Christmas one that is probably going to be sold out by the time the show comes out. And I'm going to send you a couple other Questions for Humans decks and Building an Unanxious Life. I want y'all to read that book together and just build a roadmap in your house. As you're saying, okay, the next 3 years, I'm going to be grinding it in my job, which is amazing, by the way. I've had multiple 2 or 3 or 4 year stints when I'm grinding it at work. Use that as a roadmap. How are we both going to be whole in our house? It's going to be awesome. I'm proud of you, man. Great questions to be asking. I waited till you're 15 to ask these questions. So, dude, you're way ahead of the game. Take care, good man. We'll be right back. Hey, guys, it's Delony. Listen, as the holidays get closer and things get more chaotic and finances get tighter and family members get louder and louder opinions about everything, you can find peace with Hallow, the #1 Christian prayer app in the world. And even if you're not Christian, I promise you'll find value in stopping, slowing down, and praying to a higher power, listening to the prayers spoken by other people. Hallow has thousands of Christmas and Advent prayers and meditations, plus incredible, peaceful holiday music to help you de-stress. Some of the music I even listen to while I'm lifting in my garage. You can join in Hallow's Pray 25 challenge with daily devotions based on the writings of C.S. Lewis, meditate with scripture read by Jonathan Rumi from the TV show Chosen, or wind down to a Christmas Bible story. So find your sense of calm and peace and get Hallow free for 3 months at hallow.com/Delony. That's 3 months free at hallow.com/Delony. All right, let's go out to the concrete jungles where dreams are made of, to New York, and talk to Monica. What's up, Monica?
Hi, Dr. Delony. Thank you for speaking with me.
Of course. Thank you for calling. What's up?
Well, my question is, I'm like in my mid-50s, maybe late 50s, and
that was awesome. I'm 42, and by 42, I mean like 61. That was awesome.
And I just, my life is sort of pathetic, and I don't really know what to do next. Like, I don't know how to fix it or what to do.
Hold on. You can't just drop that challenge and leave, old man. That's from Karate Kid 1. All right, so define pathetic for me. Give me a couple of data points that suggest Monica, my new friend, is pathetic. I got a pen. I'm writing these down. Let's do it.
I'm 56 years old. I'm not married. I don't have kids.
Hold on. Neither of those things count. So continue. That doesn't make you pathetic. That makes you single. So go ahead.
I just sort of have I'm really nervous. I'm sorry.
No, don't be nervous. You're my friend. We're just having nachos.
I've made a whole bunch of bad decisions.
Tell me.
Way back. I messed up my 20s by just getting high and drinking, and then got sober, and then sort of hit out.
Can I just keep interrupting you? Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. I know it makes it hard for our audience to listen, but I just want to stop you as we're going. Okay. If we were in counseling, I'd let you spin all these out and we'd pull each one of these apart. But I just want to stop you here. What in your 20s? What in your 20s, doing drugs and drinking, was your body trying to protect you from that you grew up 0 through 19?
I had some, overall, I had a great childhood.
I call bull crap on that. On a stick.
I had like a bunch of years where like an older family member did like some really messed up stuff with me sexually. So I think, there was that stuff that I was trying to deal with.
Monica, for 10 years, your body was trying to protect you in the only way it knew how.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't waste anything. You survived.
Yeah.
If there was a shipwreck in the middle of the ocean and you got hit on the head as the boat went down and you floated and treaded water and eventually somebody picked you up, or eventually the waves brought you to shore, would anybody say, wow, you sure wasted an opportunity to swim real hard? No, they would say, thank God you're alive.
Right.
Now, is there better ways to handle childhood sexual abuse? On paper, yes, there is. Did you survive?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely one of those people who believe, getting high probably saved my life. I probably would have killed myself if I didn't.
That's only somebody who truly understands addiction can say that and hear it. And I'm with you. Okay, high five you.
Thank you. So like, that was my 20s, and then, I never left. I'm in AA. I never left, but I didn't stay sober that whole time. But it's just been like a series of like bad decisions.
Give me some more. What was the bad decision in your 30s?
Just like relapsing, like not staying sober and trying to deal with my past and not really trusting anyone to be able to tell anyone the truth. So like it just sort of wasted a lot of years. And I don't know, like going to dead end jobs when I could have done something else, but I was basically too afraid because I just sort of got stuck in like these jobs that I thought there was a future and there wasn't a future.
Monica, somebody who was your family, the one tribe on planet Earth that's supposed to love you and keep you safe, hurt you in one of the most powerful and destructive ways a person can hurt somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And that never should have happened. I'm just sick and so sorry that happened. And I'm so sick and sad that you didn't have an environment in your home where it was okay to say something.
Yeah, it was not okay.
That's not, yeah. And so don't come here not telling the full truth. My childhood was great. It wasn't. It was hell. And what made it worse is that you were burning alive inside your own skin, and you had to keep a smile on that face and make sure the house was okay.
Yeah.
And so I want you to be real nice to 20 and 30-year-old Monica. Because this wasn't an intellectual exercise for you. Your body said no one can be trusted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got to figure this out on your own. Right?
Yeah, it wasn't until, I'm sober a long time now.
How long?
In January, it'll be 20 years. So, it's been a long time now.
Straight gangster, Monica.
Thank you.
All right, so you got sober at 36. Tell me about your 40s.
I just sort of, I went to therapy. I did EMDR, did all that stuff. But I got badly into debt, I just sort of, I gained a ton of weight, and I guess I kind of hid out in AA because I didn't know what else to do, and I just, I stayed at a job that I thought there was a future, and then that imploded a few years ago. And it's just been one bad decision, getting into debt, getting out of debt. And now I'm back in debt, I lost I finally lost the weight. I lost like right after COVID, I lost like 75 pounds, and now I've gained 10 pounds back. And it's like, like I'm just like, I feel like I just can't I can't get it together. Like I can't date. Like I just,
here's
I don't know.
Here's the fundamental thing. You think Monica's broken.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like Monica.
Yeah.
Think about this. If you had a car that you were pretty sure wouldn't run right, and that was pretty sure was really ugly, you would never drive it unless you absolutely had to. You would take a taxi, you'd call an Uber, you take the bus, you take the train.
Yeah.
You'd avoid that car. How in the world can somebody love you, Monica, when you won't love you?
Right.
How in the world can
I
somebody
don't know how to change that.
do what?
I don't know how to change that.
You've got to let 20-year-old Monica go. She fought like hell for you. She had a really weird way of punching and kicking, but she kept fighting. And 30-year-old Monica, for about half that decade, fought and kicked and probably started crashing and burning. And 36-year-old Monica did the hardest thing Monica's ever had to do, which is get rid of that crutch. Because the thing that kept you alive in your 20s was going to kill you in your 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And then you eked out trust with an employer and they burned you. And your body was like, told you, quit trusting. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And on the marathon of life, you walked your 40s. You just said, I'm going to quit sprinting and running and stopping and crashing. I'm going to walk. Cool. Here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing you have told me is pathetic. Not one thing is pathetic. Do I wish it had played out differently for you, starting with child abuse, starting with a home where you were a window ornament and a air freshener for your family? Yes. I wish with all my guts it had been different. And it wasn't. And
yeah.
Do I wish that kind of trauma hadn't sent you on a 30-year journey of trying to figure out how to stay alive? I do, with all my guts. And here we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just, like, I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. Like my mom is 85 and like in the last 6 months, it sort of hit me like, oh God, like I could easily have another 30 years of this.
Oh, you got 30 years, easy. You're too strong. Right? You're too strong. And so the question before you is this. I mentioned this in a previous call, and I wrote a whole chapter on this in a book. The path before you has two paths. Both of them suck. They do. They're both going to be hard. You trying to white knuckle sobriety alone and work dead-end jobs in a really expensive place to live, it's going to be very hard. Very, very hard. You spending some time forgiving Monica and celebrating Monica for keeping you alive. Learning to trust again when every single cell in your body is going to tell you not to. That's going to be hard. Not losing weight because you don't like Monica and you think Monica's gross, but losing weight and staying a good steward of your body because Monica's freaking awesome and she deserves to feel good when she wakes up. It's going to be hard. Getting out of debt, not because I'm such a freaking pathetic bum and I keep borrowing. No, not owing anybody any money because for the first time in my life, nobody's going to own Monica. I'm going to walk down the street with my head held high.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it seems, I don't know. It's, yeah.
Here's the truth, and here's how I know I'm not just spitting bullcrap at you. Have you heard the story of my mom?
No.
My mom wasn't allowed to go to college. She grew up in a religious group that wouldn't allow her to go to college. My dad always told her to go. My brother and sister and I, we always cheered her on. At the age of 42, she finally got a job. She finally went to her first community college class. 42. I was in high school. I think my sister was a freshman in college. And I had a little brother. She took one class. Next semester, she took one more class. Next semester, she took one more class. At 57, she graduated with her PhD.
Wow.
This year, I think she's 73 or 74. I'm not a great son. She spent her last summer at Oxford in London, or outside of London, teaching students. In her 70s. She would not get on a plane in her 40s. Wouldn't get on it. And so not only is this like, you're worth more. I'm not just throwing Instagram quotes at you. I've seen it in my house.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The question I have for you is, are you willing to not try to find love, not try to find a job? Are you willing to put the work in to love Monica?
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know how people do that. Like,
All right, I
don't get it.
I got you. Are you in?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to give you a bunch of stuff to get you started, and then you're going to owe me a couple of homework assignments. Is that a fair trade?
Yeah. Sure.
All right. So gift number 1, I'm giving you Own Your Past, Change Your Future, my number 1 best-selling book. I'm going to give it to you for free. It's about trauma. I want you to read it. And it's more importantly than the descriptions of trauma is the back end, which is, what do I do now? What are the exercises? What are the things I need to do? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of therapy is a lot of talking. And talking is important, but also you have to go act. You have to go do something different. And it's time for you to do something different. Fair enough?
Yeah.
All right. You're going to read that book. And then I'm going to give you my most recent best-selling book, Building a Non-Anxious Life. And it's a roadmap to living a life where your body can finally go, So then when that guy offers you a job, you can go, dude, I'm not working for you. I can see this now. Or when that guy asks you for coffee, you can go, yeah, my body thinks he's safe. I'm in. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The third thing,
Okay.
I'm going to send you all of Financial Peace University for free. All the videos, all everything. Okay?
Okay.
All 9
Thank you.
lessons. And I'm going to send you the best app on planet Earth for budgeting, EveryDollar app, for a year for free. And it automatically links to your bank. And when you spend something, it lets you know and it teaches you how to budget and walks it all the way through it. Okay?
Okay.
The next thing I'm going to send you for free is I'm going to send you 2 sessions with a financial coach here at Ramsey Solutions where I work. And they're going to talk through your actual numbers, okay?
Okay.
And help you get it.
Thank
They're
you.
going to walk alongside you and help you build a budget. And 56-year-old Monica is going to go, it's so stupid. I don't have to build a budget. Dude, everybody needs help. It's all good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
The next thing I'm going to give you is my friend Ken Coleman's book for Paycheck to Purpose. We're going to help you get a job. I'm also going to send you his Get Clear assessment, which is an assessment, which is like, all right, I'm 56. What the heck do I want to do for the next 30 years?
Yeah.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
I got you all those tools. Here's what you owe me.
Thank you.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's probably $1,000 or more worth of stuff. Here's what
Wow.
here's
Thank
what
you.
you owe me. You owe me a promise that before the weekend is over, you're going to write a letter to 24-year-old Monica. And that letter's going to start with, Dear Monica, thank you so much for keeping me alive. And I want you to go down memory lane. Remember that one time? I cannot believe you did that. What were you thinking? I can't believe you got in that car and you went to that place and you made that deal and you ended up in that hospital. You ended up with those guys.
Yeah.
And you were doing whatever you had to do to keep me alive. Thank you.
Okay.
And then you're going to write a letter to 30-year-old Monica, the one that decided I'm going to go get sober. And you're going to tell her, thank you for entering into the pit of hell yet again, this time without a sword and without a shield. Because the sword and the shield for a long time was alcohol and drugs, and she went back in with nothing, just AA.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want you to write 56-year-old Monica a letter. And that letter is going to be you talking to yourself, and it's going to start, Dear Monica, I love you. So glad you're still here. Here's who we're going to become. Are you ever going to be a millionaire? Probably not. Are you ever going to own a 5,000 square foot house? Probably not. So let's don't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's don't project this, like, I'm going to manifest what. No, let's don't do that. If you become a millionaire, I'll cheer you on, dude. I'll be so happy.
Right.
But here's what I want for you. I want you to look up and be 80 and have a small condo that you own, that's yours all by yourself. Nobody owns it. Or maybe even a small house. And I want you to have a little bit of retirement and Social Security. And I want you to have a car that is a good running car that you own completely. I want you to have a small retirement. You see what I'm saying? I want you to begin to paint that picture. Are you going to have a Rolls Royce out there? No. Are you going to have a paid for Camry or Corolla? Yes. If you have a paid for Corolla at the age of 62, I promise that car's still going before long after you are, right? Because those cars never stop running.
Right.
But here's what we're grieving the picture. We're grieving I thought it was good. It's not. And here's what it is going to look like. And at 62, you might be a teacher. You might be a businesswoman. You might be a small business owner. I don't know what you're going to be. But you're going to have your head held high. You're going to be proud. You're going to be knocking these things out. You're going to have some friends that come over to your house. Some weird wackadoodle-doo friends that come over to Monica's house and hang out. Because you love them. Because you love you. Proud of you, Monica. This is your Independence Day. Monica's free starting today. You've been sober for 20 years. Game on. I just put all the chips in. All of them. I call, Monica. Your move. We'll be right back. Hey, what's up? Delony here. Listen, you and me and everybody else on the planet has felt anxious or burned out or chronically stressed at some point. In my new book, Building a Non-Anxious Life, you'll learn the 6 daily choices that you can make to get rid of your anxious feelings and be able to better respond to whatever life throws at you so you can build a more peaceful, non-anxious life. Get your copy today at johndelony.com. All right, as we wrap up today's show, the editor staff, y'all aren't going to hear it, but I went to say I put all my chips on the table to the last caller. And also at the same time, the other side of my brain was like, let's say we moved our chips all in. And put and move came out of my mouth. I pooped. I didn't poo. But they edited it out, so y'all can't hear it, but just thought I'd let you know what happened. Gosh, our editor staff is amazing. All right, so as we wrap up today's show, this is a great article by Lucy Hanley from CNBC. I've actually been experimenting with some of this stuff in my house, and it's magic. So, according to psychologists, the questions, how was school and how was your day, are not the best questions to ask children after a day of school. Children quickly understand when adults are trying to get an answer from them and not trying to engage them. And so, really quick, how's your day? Fine. How was school? Good. Like, they become automated. They become a part of your kid. So very wide-ranging questions are so big, it's just easier to say, yeah, it was fine. And most adults want to switch off after work and let go of their day. Children are the same. And I find myself, how was work today? And I go, fine. It was cool. Their mind needs a break, and often their main focus is on food, fun, play, and rest, said Dr. Martha Dieros Claro. So it's such a common question, kids just let it roll off. So here's a couple of things. What to say right after school. Don't turn the first second of school into a 50 questions. How was your day? What's going on? How's it? Let them get in your car and go, whew. Let them walk into your house after being on the bus and go, whew. Or you come home from work and they've already been at home for a while. Let's let them walk in and, hey, how's it going? Feel your energy, you feel theirs. Be patient and wait till your child is ready to talk, she said. Then, when you ask questions, be very specific. Some questions I've started asking in my house. Who did you help today? I just popped that question off. I saw it on the internet. So I asked my kids. My son, who's a middle schooler, of course, answered, me. I helped me. And I was like, that's the wrong person. And he goes, I'm pretty good. And I help. Anyway, my daughter, though, thought about it for a second. She's an elementary school kid. And she rattled off a couple of people she helped. If I'd said, how was school? She never would have mentioned that. But one kid dropped a bunch of stuff and she helped that person. And then another kid got in trouble at school at lunch and she went with that. It was pretty neat just to say, hey, who'd you help today? So I'm starting to ask that question more and more. And hopefully they begin to look in their day for who can I help? Other questions that the article suggests is, what did you enjoy most about playtime or lunch today? What's the funniest thing that happened at lunch today? What's the worst thing that happened at lunch? That's how I found out. One of my kids got another silent lunch. Schools, stop with the silent lunches. It's ridiculous. Let kids talk and be loud and be silly and be kids. Why? Let me think about it. Because they're kids. And they have to sit in your classrooms and stare at a stupid Chromebook or do homework all day long or watch Khan Academy videos, even though taxpayers are paying your salary, or just do worksheets. Let them laugh at lunch, for God's sake. All right, I'm off my soapbox now. What did a teacher or friend say today that made you laugh, that made you nervous? It's also important to talk about emotions. Were you feeling sad today? Was there anything that made you feel better today? Was there a time you felt lonely? What'd you do about it? Here's the thing. Ask very specific questions. Give them a second to answer. Maybe you go first. I felt lonely today when Kelly came in a meeting and just stared at me and shook her head in embarrassment and shame and walked out. I felt lonely. What did I do? Yeah, I just shoved my face full of candy to try to make all the sadness go away. Did you feel lonely today? That might be a conversation you could ask if you worked with Kelly. So here's what I'm saying. Wait till your kids are ready to talk. Maybe you go first. Don't ask broad questions like, how is the world? How is today? Be very specific and ask emotional questions. What's the thing that made you feel awesome today? Made you feel scared? And let's create a new dialogue with our kids. Let's model for them what that looks like. And maybe you do that with your husband or with your wife. Model what that looks like so that they have a picture of what it looks like when you ask them. Let's ask questions to listen to our kids, not just to do a checklist. All right, y'all stay in school. Don't do drugs. Be nice to each other. Kelly, you're getting better at this directing job, producing job.
I work with what I'm given.
Bye.